Hello and welcome to some more card reveals. So, kicking things off, we have the legendary forest card, Godhunter Selwyn. I do actually really like him. He's a pretty nice looking card. I mean, he's always been cool and I thought he'd make a nice fitting legendary, so I'm really glad that we get to see that. As a 5-drop 3/5, accelerate 2, deal 2 damage to an enemy follower. That's pretty decent as an excel effect. I mean, having that built-in ping should be quite good. Of course, it's also got Ward, Fanfare, and deal 4 damage to an enemy follower if at least 2 other followers were played this turn, then deal 2 damage to all enemy followers if at least 4 other cards were played this turn. So basically just a nice way to deal some extra damage, so dealing 4 if at least 2 were played, and then dealing 2 if at least 4 were played could guarantee you good board clear. So I mean, this isn't a bad card. Definitely going to be tricky to get that last bit to go off, especially considering its effect has to be done when it's a 5-drop, so that's going to be pretty crazy, but other than that, being a ward with that stat line should be pretty reasonable. Then, next up, we have Bludgeoning Genius. I think that's what it is. Or Brigade, I have no clue. Pronunciation, not my strong suit. This one, yeah, I give up on that. Anyway, it's a 4-drop spell for Rune. It's a Mysteria trait card, so that's always nice. Recover 1 evolution point. Summon a Guardian Golem if at least 20 cards or less are in your deck. This card isn't too bad at all. I think the Guardian Golem summon should work really well in the early game. Of course, as long as you're not pumping out too much draw power. But with Mysteria, you could probably get away with not pumping too much into your draw power and mainly focusing on going for damage, and something like this could come in very handy for that. Then we have Girtablilu. Some of these card names are just a little too much for me to try and pronounce, so we might skip over some of those. We have a 3-drop 2/3 gold for Bloodcraft. Fanfare enhance 9. If your leader has 19 defense or less, this follower's attack and defense becomes X. X equals 20 minus your leader's defense. So as an enhance 9 card, this isn't actually too bad. If it was just a standard effect, it would be really overpowered, but as an enhanced 9, I think it's pretty respectable. Considering you have to have 2 defense or less and an evolve point at 9 to take advantage of this full effect, I think it's pretty balanced out. It's definitely going to be a good card, but whether it's usable is another thing. Situationally, it's going to be hard to get this card to work. Having to be at 2 defense puts you at a huge risk of dying by that point, especially if you don't kill your opponent with this card, so definitely a good card with its effect wise, just might be a little too clunky to play. Then we have Bashful, which is pretty okay, a 3-drop 2/3 Bronze Havencraft card, a Fanfare, enhance 5, gain +2/+0, gain ambush until the end of your opponent's turn. At the end of your turn, restore 2 defense to this follower. So, not a bad card. It does get the defense proc, which means Tenko Shrine has another target that can be used, so I don't mind cards like that, especially when it has ambush, so it won't be targeted, which is good. Of course, that does mean it has to be played as a 5-drop, but considering Tenko is a 4, you could go 4 into 5 pretty comfortably. Then we have Gem Princess, 6-drop 4/5 Havencraft card. This one is not too bad at all. Honestly, I don't mind this. Ward, Fanfare, give your leader the following effect. At the end of your turn, restore 1 defense to all allies. This effect is not stackable and lasts the rest of the match. Again, great card for any kind of Tenko support, giving you that health every single turn, and restored defense to all allies is great. So being a leader effect, it's not disappearing. As a 6-drop, it's pretty acceptable, and it has Ward, which makes it a good defensive play. Then we have a Fate's Hand reprint, a really nice one too. I actually love the card art used for this, it's amazing. So it's of course a 5-drop spell, draw 2 cards, subtract 0 from this cost of this card, spell boost, subtract 1 more. So just your standard Fate's Hand, and I really like seeing this as a reprint. I think it's going to have a fairly good amount of power to it. Will it make a huge difference in current rune decks? Maybe, can't really say for sure, but it's definitely going to have some kind of impact. Then we have Hatchling, a 2-drop 2/2 Silver Dragoncraft card. If you have at least 7 play points, play this card as either a Whitescale Dragon or a Blackscale Dragon. That card costs 7 play points. So this is obviously the 7-drop Whitescale Dragon, a 5/7 ward, pretty generic with pretty standard stat gain. The Blackscale Dragon, on the other hand, though, is a 5-drop 6/2, cannot be attacked. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all other followers. I actually don't mind this card too much, although I think the 2 health is a little too awkward. It's easily clearable, so I'm a little disappointed with that. I wish it was probably in the 4 health range, then it would be a really strong card. But I think at 2, it's just probably going to be too easy to remove. It's going to be an okay instant clear, but there's probably better things to do that with. Then we have Zooey, Arbiter of the Skies, the Dragoncraft Legendary, 11 drop, 7/6. So as an 11 drop, of course, that means it's not normally playable, so its effect has to make up for that, and its effect is Accelerate 1, draw a card, put a 10 play point, 6/5 Zooey, Arbiter of the Skies without the Excel into your deck. Storm, of course, if you don't activate Excel, it has the Storm effect. Fanfare, deal damage to your leader until their defense drops to 1. Your leader cannot be damaged until the start of your next turn, and of course on Evo it just has Storm. This card is definitely interesting. I really like the Excel, meaning that once you draw it once, you play it as a 1-drop spell, and you can pretty much instantly put it into your deck as a 10, which is reasonable. So it does mean you basically have to draw it twice, so you're upping your RNG on getting this card to work. But there are also cards that can drop the cost of this card already, as you're about to see, I believe. So it's not impossible to play it at its standard stat line and get full advantage out of it. At, say, best case scenario, you're getting a 9/8 beat stick that protects you for a turn. You definitely want to use this as a finisher. That's pretty much the only use case. Other than that, I think it's a quite good card, and I would love to at least give it a go. Then we have Tail's Swing, a 5-drop spell for Dragoncraft. Randomly destroy one of the strongest enemy followers in play. Subtract 1 from the cost of a Dragoncraft card in your hand. So as I said, subtracting cost, this is what can combo nicely with the legendary, so that should work out pretty well. Then we have Vira, Knight Fanatic, a 2-drop 2/2 Bloodcraft legendary. Only has an evolve effect until the start of your next turn. Give your leader the following effect. Your leader cannot be damaged. This effect lasts until this follower leaves the area. Until the start of your next turn, subtract 2 from all damage dealt to this follower. So I think this is a pretty good card, honestly. I mean, until the start of your next turn, subtract 2 as a 4-drop, because you're playing this obviously on 4. You could combo this with another 2-drop, which would work really well. You're going to be blocking a nice amount of damage. You're going to be trading it with a 4/4 into a 3 or a 2-drop most likely. So I think this going second could be an amazing card. Going first might be a little more awkward, but it could at least protect you. So I don't mind this card at all. Then we have Adorable Genius, we'll just go with that, a 4-drop 4/3 gold Runecraft card. Fanfare, summon an Earth Essence. Fanfare, enhance 8, recover 1 evolution point. So I like that first part of the effect, being summon an Earth Essence for a 4-drop like that is pretty okay, and with the enhance, recovering 1 evolution is also quite good. With the Evo though, it is Earthright, put an Ars Magna, I don't know, into your hand and recover 2 play points. So the Evo would actually allow you to recover 2 play points as well. So even if you're playing this as the normal Fanfare, you should then be able to get the Evo regardless of the enhance. So playing this on 4, you summon an Earth Essence, you evolve, you activate Earthright, you get the next card we're about to look at, the token, into your hand, and you recover 2 play points. That's really quite good, especially considering the spell is actually pretty awesome looking. Deal 3 damage to an enemy, enhance 4, restore 3 defense to your leader. So even just as it is, okay, this card is basically a 4-drop 4/3, which if you're using the Evo, which of course you probably would be, you're getting a 4-drop 5/4 with a 3 damage effect built into it, all for the cost of 4 play points once you work it out, which I think is an extremely acceptable card. So I really actually like this, and I hope Earth Essence gets some more cards like this. Then we have the Unpolished Mage, a 3-drop 3/1 Runecraft card. I feel like we looked at a card almost identical to this, but maybe it was neutral, I can't remember, it was one of the older cards. I'm sure we'll look at it with the full roundup, but Fanfare, removal effects of an enemy follower, except changes to its attack or defense. So again, this is basically a silence effect, removing all effects on an enemy follower except for its attack and defense, excluding cards that can't already be affected, obviously, like Aegis, because this effect obviously can't trump something that's already in existence, so that makes sense. Then we have Abyss Summoner, 7-drop 6/6 silver Runecraft card. If you have 20 cards or less in your deck, Fanfare, choose, summon either a Enriched Chimera or an Eldritch Demon. So the Eldritch Demon is a 6-drop 4/4 Storm at the end of your turn, restore 3 defense to this follower. So quite a nice card, I actually don't mind that too much. Then we have the Eldritch Chimera, which is a 6-drop 5/5 ward. Can't be destroyed by spells and effects. Can be destroyed by damage from effects or attacks. So while you can't be destroyed directly by effects, you can be destroyed by the damage that those effects take onto you. So really not, you know, super OP, but still pretty reasonable. And considering you would be getting for 7 a 6/6 and at minimum a 4/4, that's a pretty decent stat line on 2 bodies for that. Of course, you do need 20 or less cards, but at turn 7 as a rune player, that should be pretty easy to do. And that does wrap up this video. There should be more card reveals coming very, very soon. Of course, I have not covered every single card that has been revealed from the set so far. We do have a lot of cards that I haven't covered that are either been Japanese exclusive reveals or have been revealed by other YouTubers at the moment, like Shadow Nexus, which is in the link in the description. You can check that video out. You just have to go to the channel, which of course is always in my description, and being a member of the Shadow Nexus. So you guys should definitely check that out if you want to see that card. It's a pretty exciting gold rune card that I actually think should be pretty good. But overall, we will be covering everything in the whole roundup once we have all the cards released. The site will be updated, and as always, I'll be covering each set. So we'll have two or three classes or crafts per video, and we'll cover every single card just before the expansion launches. So do look forward to those videos, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.